The big question, how do you run a sale, a big sale, inside of the M3 structure method? Now, basically, you have set up at this point, most likely, a scale campaign, a prospecting campaign, a retargeting campaign, and a retention campaign. This is an evergreen machine, right? Is a flywheel. You're taking your best creatives, you're graduating those creatives, you're creating iterations of those best creatives, you're scaling what's working the best, you're retargeting your existing customers, you're retargeting your engaged customers appropriately with maximum frequencies in many cases. You're not overspending on retargeting and retention. You're spending most of your dollars on new customers. And then the big sale period comes about. Whether you're in the vitamins and supplements industry and it's January 1st and it's new year, new me, whether you are in the fourth quarter and it's time for Black Friday sales, which we have a whole section on anyway, or whether you are literally just like, hey, I'm running a flash sale because I want to do a summer savings sale. What do you do? How do you flip it into here? I'm going to give the easy low hanging fruit first for options that you can do right away. And then I'm going to do share a couple of other, like very, very common cases and how we flip them in. What I want to mention here is that there are a lot of unique cases when it comes to sales because some brands get huge pops from sales while other brands just get like a little bump overall. It also depends on the type of sale that you're running. So let's go through it. First things first, if you are running a sale that is just site-wide, not creating assets for the sale, you're not doing anything unique for the sale, you're just running it on site, maybe you send an email, you don't need to do anything. It's very, very simple. Like you just keep running what you're already doing. People get to the site, they get a surprise and delight. Now, I wouldn't really recommend that. I would always recommend promoting your sale in some way, shape, or form. In the case that you're running a sale that is very long, let's say you're running a summer savings like marathon sale, like something that's like 30 days, right? The whole month you're on sale. All of July, all our bikinis are 30% off. Okay. How you want to treat that is just like another pack within your existing campaign. That is the key. You want to treat this, if you're running a long sale, as another pack that you upload inside your existing prospecting campaign. The reason you want to do this is because it will graduate itself to the top of your account. It will get the most amount of spend in your account if it's better than everything else. A great example of what people do that fails terribly is they say, they have this sort of system set up and they say, okay, we're running a 30% on bikinis sale, but most of their business comes from tank tops. I don't know, I'm making things up. So most of their business comes from tank tops, but they're going to run 20% off on bikinis. They all of a sudden think that because they're running 20% off on bikinis, that 20% off is going to sell or more bikinis than tank tops. When in reality, it's just going to boost bikinis a little bit, and tank tops will still probably see a natural lift from, the natural sale that's happening. So the thing I see often is they'll have a sale on a not major product or not site-wide. They will create a new campaign. They will force a lot of spend to that sale, and it won't actually work as well as their evergreen best-selling products. That is one of the main reasons why we always want to insert that sale into our existing campaigns. If we insert into our existing campaigns, or rather create a new ad set with that new pack related to that creative/sale, then it will float its way to the top if and only if it's better. This is a great use case to use minimum advertising budgets, right? We've broken down minimum advertising budgets a lot, just to show like what I'm even talking about. If I were to be in creating a broad pack here, let's say it's a sale pack, we'll just go through it. So we have our prospecting CBO, we have our new pack. We're going to say this is broad sale, 20% bikinis. Okay. So our bikini sale that we're running in this section right here. One thing we might want to consider is setting an ad set spending limit and putting a daily minimum. Now, the easiest thing you could just do here is just set your daily minimum, as I've said many times, to 1 time your cost per acquisition. If your cost per acquisition is $50, you set your minimum to $50. Again, I broke this down like 20 times already, but just to show what this does in my graphics here. When you start an ad from zero, it takes a lot of time to start to pick up and spend unless it's like a hero winner, like a killer. When you start your ad from your once CPA, your 1x CPA, then it has a head start above the zero and it could grab a couple purchase events, which is a really strong indication to Facebook because that's the main objective, purchases. Really strong indication that it should spend more on this specific ad. So usually what winds up happening is when you do 1x cost per acquisition, you wind up having just a few days of lower spend followed by a spike after that. And if it doesn't work, then it'll just continue at the $100 cost per acquisition, in which case you should remove the ad set spending limit. Again, as I've broken down many times, there's a whole section on ad set spending limits that you should listen to before you do this. Okay, all this said, this is the best, easiest way to do any sort of lengthy sale, right? Any sort of sale that's either anything over a week, I'd say. Week and a half, 2 weeks. It's like a not like a flagship flash sale, like full takeover, but it's a sale that's going on. It just goes into a new pack. And then just to be safe, right? Because the sale's going to end eventually, set yourself an end date. You don't have to even worry about this thing. It's just going to stop serving. So you don't have to mess up. You don't have to go in the ads manager at 11:59 at night to stop the sale, right? You could just schedule everything real easy for yourself. In this case, most of the time, you're just going to launch all of your ads inside this single ad set. Now, if you have like a ton of assets, just launch maybe 2 packs for this sale. If you're running 20% off bikinis and 30% off of, I don't know, hats, then run 2 separate ad sets. It's completely okay. The point is that you don't want to separate this out too much, okay, for these kinds of sales. Now, let's go back into our system here. So we're inserting our new, use black, we're inserting our new ad sets, our sales as new ad sets inside of our prospecting CBO campaign. Ultimately, they're going to get spend only if they're better than everything else, which is fine. Okay, what happens if you're running a sale that's like 5 days? Big sale, right? This is like your Labor Day sale is here. We have a Black Friday specific, but your Labor Day sale is here. Your Memorial Day sale is here. Your summer sale is here. 7 days, 5 days, really hard, big sale, or even like a weekend sale or a payday sale. If you're running aggressive sales for short periods of time, what I would recommend doing is creating a single prospecting brand new campaign. Feels crazy to say out loud. But what we want to do in this case, if we're running a system like this already, we want to minimize interference on this campaign, and this campaign. We don't want these campaigns to be interfered with a 5-day sale. And what happens when you interfere with these campaigns is very common, is you launch, you try to take away or set very high minimum budgets in new ad sets for sales. They take all the spend and then they get ripped out 5 days later. If you're expecting your sales going to like really pop, like 300x or 3x the business for a short period of time, then it's time to build something separate. This is actually really easy because all you're going to do is basically create a duplicate of your scale campaign and just plug in your sale ads into it. So super, super easy. In the case of a sale, depends on how much budget you have, but the easiest thing to do in the case of a sale is to just take your existing scale campaign, quickly duplicate it. We're going to call this sale. We're going to stick with summer sale. Okay. So it's going to be like 7 days, right? In this case, there's just make sure all your settings as usual are set up. No changes to that. And then in this case, set your start date, set your end date because it's a sale, in fact. And then when it comes to your audience, this is where you get to make a pretty important decision for yourself. I would generally recommend, if you have a big sale going on, you're going to be spending a lot of money, that you do break this out: prospecting, retargeting, and retention. It's usually the best play for big, like true sales, like 40% off site wide, like big sales. I can't emphasize that part enough. Don't do this if you're running a 20% off bikini sale, to keep the same language. Now, if you're running these big sales, right, you should, for the most part, be setting up a prospecting side, a retargeting side, and a retention side. That means either 3 campaigns or 3 ad sets at an ABO setup. It doesn't matter. The truth of this is it doesn't matter because you're using single ad sets in most cases. Let's just go with the easy flow of this. So you're going to recreate your prospecting sale for summer sale. Instead of a scale campaign, this is going to be pack one, but it's going to be summer sale pack one. Now, in many cases, you're not relaunching ads over and over again, but if you have a lot of ads for the summer sale, then just make a couple packs for them. It's completely fine. You could group your videos together. You could group different kinds of things that you're talking about on sale. It's no problem, right? If one round of your creative that you made is all heavy text on image, great. Maybe that's a pack. If one is all UGC creator videos promoting the sale, great. Maybe that's a pack. Anything that you could segment is generally helpful in a CBO campaign, but you don't need to overdo it. If you only have 10 assets, 10 ads, that is, just throw them all into one ad set and you could run one campaign, one ad set, all your ads into one ad set. Very simple. After this, for the summer sale, you're going to do the same thing that you've done in your normal pack system. I won't go through this in too much detail, but you're going to create your retargeting summer sale, right? I actually don't know why I said sale here. Here we go. Your retargeting summer sale, and then in that retargeting campaign, we're going to create our multiple ad sets that are applicable to the business. Now, in this case, for retargeting, I always go 14-day engagers, 30-day site visitors, 90-day add to cart, initiate checkout. To keep this really simple, just like we did a few minutes ago in our first day of sale ads, you could just group these together. You could just have 30 to 60-day Facebook engagers. You want to expand those audiences a little bit. 90-day visitors plus initiate checkouts plus add to carts, and then an all-time purchasers list. You don't need the sale period, especially if it's short, to be so segmented as we normally are. The most important part is that you just have breakouts for retargeting, retention, and then of course prospecting so that you know where you're spending your money. A sale period is one of the best times to spend a little bit more on retargeting and retention because it gets a lot of people who were disengaged or engaged very recently and get them over the hump to purchase with you, whether it's the first time or the 10th time. So in these setups, just to wrap these up, what I would basically suggest, I'm just going to get rid of the ads here. So this is very simple. Cool. So what I would suggest here in these ads, or for these ad sets, is for the retargeting campaign, we have visitors plus initiate checkout plus add to cart 90 days. Now you can either group these together or you can create two ad sets, one for visitors and then one for initiate checkouts in 90 days. Totally up to you. And then the next piece here is going to be retention. Summer sale, of course. And then for this retention summer sale piece, same scenario. Instead of having your 180-day purchasers or 30-day purchasers, 90-day purchasers, everything broken out, we're just going to do all-time purchase. So it's going to be anyone who's ever purchased from us ever. And our targeting is going to be the 180-day pixel plus our Klaviyo list. Very straightforward. This system generally, it could be expanded on, depends how much you're running, but this is just like similar to our core system, and it's only going to run for a short period of time. So we don't want to have everything so broken out. It's more important that we just get spend to the appropriate swim lanes, right? We know, hey, prospecting, if we have a $100,000 budget, let's say, for a sale, we know prospecting, we want to spend 80 grand on prospecting. And then we want to maybe spend 15 on retargeting and 5 on existing customers, right? I'm giving very rough random numbers, but you can now determine where you want to spend instead of just grouping it all together. This is why this is generally better. And what I said at the beginning was it's okay if you want to just group this all into an ABO single campaign, like a summer sale single campaign. And if you were to do that, all you're literally doing is the exact same thing, except instead of each of these being broken out into campaigns, you're just having one campaign. You're changing it to ad set budget, and then you're just moving this visitors into this prospecting. You're moving this all-time purchasers into this prospecting. And of course, it's not prospecting anymore. It's just your summer sale. Make sense? All right. That's how we like to launch sales. I know that was a quicker one for something fairly complex, but I just want to really emphasize that this strategy in total needs to be curated to your business and the sale type. And there's just so many different scenarios that we can go through.